recruiting, selecting, training, compensating and controlling the measures or controlling the plans that you have decided for your retail outlets. We have two kind of training programs, on-the-job training programs, off-the-job training programs. Depending upon the situation and depending upon the company policies, they are going to take the different kind of training programs. Performance appraisal is a systematic and periodic process of measuring an individual's work performance against the established requirements of the job. Hello students, welcome to another session in retail management. In today's session, we are mainly going to concentrate on HRM and retail management. So before we start the session, let me introduce myself. I'm Vaishnavi, Faculty of Commerce from Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So we'll see today's agenda. So as I've told, we are mainly concentrating on the HRM topics, especially in the retail industry. So starting, we are going to start with the introduction of HRM in retail marketing. Next, we are going to start with the functions of HRM. So there are three types of functions. So we'll see what are the functions of the HRM. Next is about the manpower planning and what is recruitment and training, and what is performance appraisal, and what are the methods of performance appraisal, and compensation, meaning of compensation, and what are the different types of compensation we have got. So basically, we are going to study all the HRM related topics in the retail management. So as you know, the human resources are very much important in every kind of an industry. So we are going to concentrate mainly on the retail industry. So we'll see the introduction. I have mentioned in many times in my previous sessions also that for running any kind of a business, you need mainly three types of M. That is men, money and material. So men is nothing but human resources. So human resources is a very rich kind of a resource and very important kind of a resource for every kind of an organization, because without the human resources, there is no way or there is no chance of having a progress in the operations or having a wealth maximization or running a day-to-day operations or anything. So human resources plays a very important role here. So without the people, you cannot do your day-to-day operations of your businesses. So that is the reason why it is very much important in retail industry or in any kind of an organization. Especially in case of retail industry, so you are going to set up a retail outlet. So you are going to set up a manufacturing units. So for that, you need staff, you need people, you need labor, you need skilled labor, you need unskilled labor. So these comes under again human resources, whether it might be male or female. So you need some people to help you. You need some people to give their own ideas. So you cannot run a business as a one-man show. You cannot do all the operations in a single-handed. So you need a different hands for doing your daily operations. So that is the reason why human resources is very important in retail industry. So we'll see human resource management in retailing involves. So basically it involves what? Recruiting, selecting, training, compensating, supervising the personnel. It is all about the managing of the human resources. So how we are going to manage? Through recruiting the right person or right candidates, and to selecting through a process of screening, and to have a proper training for them, giving a proper compensation to the personnel, and supervising and controlling the personnel. So all these functions involves in retail management. So it involves ensuring that these activities are consistent with the retailer's organization structure and strategy mix. So all the human resource functions is all about maintaining the daily functions of a retail outlet. So how we are going to maintain? Through the proper process that is called recruiting, selecting, training, compensating and controlling the measures or controlling the plans that you have decided for your retail outlet or for your retail businesses. So this is the basic introduction of HRM. So next we'll move on to the functions of HRM. So you know that for every kind of an organization, so there should be a kind of a proper department. So for every department, there should be a kind of a head. So a proper human resource department is there in the same way. If you go to each and every kind of a businesses, a separate department will be maintained, a human resource department where there will be a manager, recruiters, there will be senior managers, there will be assistant managers in case of the human resource department. So because they are the people who will be helping the organization in recruiting the best candidates for the respective job or for the respective role. So that is the reason why a proper department will be there in every kind of a business organization. So we'll see what is the main functions of those departments. So there are three kind of functions, that is managerial functions, operative functions and advisory functions. So we'll see one by one in detail. So first is managerial functions. So under that first comes the human resource planning. Managerial is about managing. So managing the day-to-day operations or day-to-day activities of the human resource department. So under that first is planning. So planning is all about, so you're going to plan for the future. You're going to plan for the coming days regarding how many number of employees will be required. So what kind of employees will be required. So what is the job position. So how you're going to recruit the people. What is the screening. All these you're going to decide or you're going to plan in beforehand itself. So that is the main important function in the managerial function, that is human resource planning. Next is organizing. So organizing the recruitment drives. So whether you're going to go to the walk-in interviews or you're going to go to the campus organizations or you're going to go for different kind of recruitment methods depending upon the organization. So you're going to fix to one kind of a recruitment method and you're going to organize it. So first step or first function for a human resource is what about planning. So planning about what kind of job is needed, what kind of people are needed, what kind of job position is available, that is vacant in the organization. So all these important here in case of planning. Next is about organizing the recruitment drives. So how you are going to organize it. We are going to go for campus organizations, that is campus recruitment, or through any referrals or through any walk-in interviews or through any paper advertisements. So depending upon the policies or depending upon the regulations of the company, you are going to decide it. Next is about directing. So directing is very important. So once you have recruited the people inside your organization, you are the person who should direct them. That means you should give them a detailed introduction or base brief about the operations of your job. So how you are going to do it. So like say for example, so you have recruited for accounts, so accounts manager or for accounts assistant. So you should give a brief introduction about what is your job operation. So what you're going to exactly do. So what is level of your output. So that means like you're going to understand what are the basic rules and responsibilities of your job. So that is about directing. Next is controlling. So controlling is all about like comparison of the planned results as well as with the achieved results. So you're going to compare it. So you're going to give a work to your employee. So you will be briefing them what are the activities or what are the responsibilities that the person needs to be taken. Then later once the responsibilities have been taken, then you're going to compare it to the already planned objectives as well as to the achieved objectives. So once if there is any kind of deviations, so you are going to give a again brief detailing or brief explanation about what is the mistake that has been done, and you are going to give a proper path or you are going to proper explanation about what needs to be done so that the mistakes cannot be repeated. So this is the managerial functions. Next is about the operative functions. So what are the operative functions that needs to be taken by the human resource department? Under that first is recruitment and selection. So as I've told, recruitment is very important here. So as and when the company keeps on developing or company keeps on improving, so you need the new people, you need kind of new blood in your organization so that they can give you new kind of ideas and they can take up the responsibility seriously. So that is the reason why recruitment is important here. So encouraging the new people into the organization is very important here. So first function for a human resource department is what? To recruit the right kind of candidate for the right job, and for the selecting the process and giving a proper introduction about the job and selecting the right kind of a person for the job. So this is the first function. Next is job analysis and design. So next kind of a function for every human resource department is what? To analyze what kind of job it is. So if a vacant position comes in any kind of an organization, so we need to understand, or the human resource department or HR manager needs to understand what is the job about, what is a vacant is about. So that means like say for example, you are going to start a new retail outlet. So that is any kind of clothing store. So for the clothing store, you need some people. That means you need sales girls or salesman you need it, and you need a proper billing section. For that also you need some personnel. You need some people for backend, that is for your warehouse maintenance, that is inventory management. You need some people for advertisements, so that is marketing department is needed. You need some people to maintain your inventory levels. There also a vacancy arises. So here I have taken 5 examples. So that is salesperson, inventory management, billing section, human resource department, then marketing department. So I have taken 5 kind of an examples, and you can see there are 5 different positions that are being open in the retail outlet. So that is your retail outlet. So here the basic function of a HR manager is what? To identify what is the position, what is the vacancy that has created, and you have to design the proper job, that is analyzing the responsibilities, what are the responsibilities need to be taken by the candidate once they take up the job, and you have to design them. So that is another function of the HR management. Next is about performance appraisals. So performance appraisal is also one of the important function for the human resource management or human resource department, because so once the people have started to work in your organization, you are going to give them a compensation, that is monthly salaries or might be daily wages or any kind of a perquisites you are going to give it to your employees. So as and when they are going to work in the organization, they are getting the experiences as well as they are getting the seniority basis. So as and when they are going to work and they are going to dedicate their time and effort for your organization, it is the responsibility for the organization to improvise their pay and improvise their performances through any kind of requirements or through any kind of perquisites that has been given to the employee. So that means increase in the salary, giving them bonuses, or giving them any kind of paid holidays. So these kind of appraisal methods needs to be taken care by the human resource department, so that the employee retention rate is very much inside the organization. Next kind of function is trainings and developments. So trainings and developments is also another important function here, because so once an employee needs to possess a proper skill. So he needs to or she needs to understand what kind of responsibilities needs to be taken on, as well as and when the technology is being developing, so your skills also needs to be improved. So it is also responsibility of the organization to provide them a proper training, whether it might be a soft skill training or whether it might be hard skills. So your responsibility is to give a proper training to the people, and as well as the company also needs to take care of the career developmental techniques for the employees as well. Like say for example, Wipro company, so what they do is like, so they recruit the people to their organization, so they give the jobs, they give the trainings, as well as they also contribute for the any kind of certified courses if the employees wants to take down. So if they want to pursue some other courses, or if they want to take down any kind of new career development certification, so the company will provide them the subsidies for the employees, so that they can take up those kind of certificates programs and they can develop their career as well. So these kind of developmental programs also needs to be adopted by the organization. Next is about wage and salary administration. So that is having a proper salary administration for the employees. So proper wage if it is of any unskilled labors, and for skilled labors proper salary compensation, and yearly or annually revision of those kind of compensation needs to be done by the human resource department. Next is about employee welfare. So welfare activities needs to be taken by the organization for the betterment of the employees. Like say for example, organization will only provide the insurance opportunities or insurance policies for the employees. So they give the health insurance policies. So they also take care of their spouse of the employee. And if they have gone for leave, so they are going to give the encashment for those kind of leaves. So any kind of subsidies can be provided, and any kind of gift or bonuses needs to be given to the employees for any milestones that have achieved. So like that, so a new kind of compensation adaptation needs to be taken on in case of the employee welfare activities. These are the operative functions. So next is about operative functions. So under that, first is maintenance. So maintenance of the employees inside the organization. So maintaining them, making sure that they're not having any kind of grievances or any problems or any kind of difficulties has not been faced inside the organization. So that is regarding the maintenance. Next is labor relations, having a proper relations with the labor, that is having a proper relations with the trade unions. So if it is of any manufacturing unit, so there will be a head of the union person, so that will be representing the overall labor of the manufacturing unit. So having a proper interaction with the labor is very much important here, so that any kind of requirements from the labor needs that can be put up in front of the top level management. So that kind of relations needs to be taken on. So nowadays, like in case of the annual meetings, so the labor, that is a trade union leader, also will be attending those kind of meetings, and the person will be setting up or putting up the ideas in front of the top level management. So these kind of provisions needs to be taken by the organization. Next is regarding personal research. So a proper documentation, a proper background research needs to be taken by the human resource management, so that they can avoid any kind of the problems inside the organization. Next is personal record. So maintaining the proper documentation of the personnel, that is the employees that are being recruited inside the organization. All the document verification and all the maintenance of the documents, that is resume, certificates and Aadhaar cards, address proofs, etc. needs to be taken on by the human resource department itself. Next is advisory functions. So under that first comes in the advisory to the top level management. So as a human resource person, though they'll be directly interacting with the employees, whether it might be lower level, mid level, the people who will be interacting with those kind of employees that are there in the organization. So it is important for the human resource department to make sure that the views, the problems or any kind of complaints that are been facing by the employees needs to be put up in front of the top level management. So giving the advices regarding the company policies, regulations, employment policies or any kind of rules or regulations that need to be set up by the organizations. So any kind of advices needs to be given by the human resources department itself. Next is about the advice to the departmental heads. So that is the different departments will be having. So advices to the departmental heads regarding the performance of the employees, regarding the emotional intelligence of the employees, all these important here, so that the heads can take care of their employees who are working under their department. So these are the important functions of the human resources in retail management. So next about the manpower planning. So manpower planning is about like planning the right kind of a candidate for the right kind of a job at the right time, is all about planning. So we'll see the basic meaning here. Manpower planning, which is also called as human resource planning, consists of putting the right number of people, the right kind of people at the right place at the right time, doing the right things for which they are suited for the achievement of the goals of the organization. That means, so you are going to select the right kind of a people at a right time for the right job, so that they can achieve the organizational objectives or goals in a period of a time. So this is about a manpower planning. So we'll see what are the steps in manpower planning. First step is analyzing the current manpower inventory. That is your current employee that are there currently in the organization. How many of them are there? So what kind of departments are there? How many people are working in each department? Analyzing them, and then later on, after they have analyzing, so they need to analyze if they have got any kind of vacancy in those kind of departments. That is the first step. Next is about making future manpower forecasts. So as and when the company or the organization is developing, so there will be new kind of opportunities will be arising, or if any kind of a old employee or the current employee has been leaving the organization, so there again arises a vacancy. So here it is important for the human resource department to analyze any kind of future forecasting of the manpower requirement that might be needed. So that is the next step. Next is developing the employment programs, that is regarding the training programs, development programs. So developing all these kind of programs in future. Next step is about designing the training programs. So what are the different kind of training programs? We have two kind of training programs: on the job training programs, off the job training programs. Depending upon the situation and depending upon the company policies, they are going to take the training, different kind of training programs. So these are the basic steps in manpower planning. Next is recruitment. So recruitment is the process of searching and encouraging the prospective employees to apply for jobs within an organization. Retail training is a program that trains employees on product sales, customers and service and any kind of customs tools. Recruitment is all about encouraging the people to apply for the job in any kind of organization is called recruitment, whereas training is what? So training the employees on the basis of products, on basis of sales, on the basis of customer services and any kind of tools if there are any that need to be taken by the employees. So this is recruitment and training meaning. So we'll see the different methods of recruitment. So first is internal factors. So that is internally, if they're going to take the recruitment methods, that will be called as an internal recruitment methods. Under that, first is present permanent employees. So that means if you're currently any kind of people that are working inside the organization, so making them as a permanent employees is one of the internal method of recruitment. Next is present temporary or casual employees. So taking up any kind of contractual basis of casual employees or temporary based of employees is one more kind of a recruitment method. Next is retrenched or retired employees. That means, so if any employees that are been working in the organization and they have got retired, but still if they're ready to come back and do their services for the company or for the organization, so doing that kind of recruitment will be called as the selecting of retirement employees. Then dependent of deceased, disabled or retired employees. So if any sudden deaths has happened for any employee, so recruitment from the family of the deceased person or a retired person will be the one more method of the internal recruitment. Next is external factors. Under that, first is campus organization. That means campus recruitment. So going to different kind of colleges and selecting the new talent and new people for the organization depending upon the qualification and depending on the skills what they have attained during the interview process. That is campus organization. Next is private employment exchanges. So there are some kind of private HR agencies that are there in any kind of a city. So contacting those kind of HR agencies and so that they can provide the details of the persons got enrolled to those kind of agencies, and recruitment through those kind of HR agencies will be called as the private employment exchange. Next is public employment exchange. So we have a government exchange, public government exchange centers are there. So the people can go and enroll in those kind of government services, and if the company has been ready to recruit through the government related employment exchange offices, so they are going to give the details of the employees as well. So this is same like a private kind of an employment exchange, but it has been wholly run by the government. Next is professional organizations. That means any kind of training institutes are there. So we have different kind of training institutes. We have Excel training institute, we have digital marketing training institutes, etc. So any kind of institutes that are already training their students, and through those kind of institutes you are going to recruit the people. So that will be called as an professional organizations. To data banks. That means through the data that is already available in the market. That means in case of any employment exchange people, that means private or government exchange people, going there and getting the data from the employment exchange and contacting them regarding the vacancy. Next, casual application. That means a proper advertisements will be given and a walk-in interview will be calling out for the people so that they can walk in into the organization, they can give the interview to them. Next is about trade unions. So that means any kind of government trade unions or a proper collaboration between the company and the trade unions, and they can represent or they can refer the people who are related to the union members. So through that also recruitment will be done. Next is employee referral. So this is a common kind of a recruitment process where employee will be referring their friends or family or anyone who are related to the current employee, and through the references, if the company is going to recruit, that kind of process will be called as the employee referral. So these are the important external factors of recruitment. Next is training. So training is also an essential factor, needs to be considered in human resource management, because training is all about upskilling the skills of the employee. So training is an essential activity that undertaken by the organization to enhance the skills of the employees by helping them in acquiring new knowledge and skills which are required to perform their present jobs more efficiently. So gaining the new knowledge so that they can give their even more 100% output so that they can perform in a very more efficient way. That is the main objective behind the trainings. There are two types of trainings we have got, that is on the job training method and off the job training method. So we'll see one by one. On the job training method, that is job rotation. So this kind of job rotation technique will be mostly adopted in case of the banks or in case of manufacturing outlets, because that reduces the employee turnover and the people can also learn different kind of jobs under same roof. The basic method under this job rotation is about, for today, if you have been recruited as a clerk, so you will be working as a clerk for a period of 1 year. Later, you will be transferred to some other place and you will be given some other job position. That means head clerk or assistant clerk, like that. Such kind of job method will be called as the job rotation. Next is coaching. So giving a coaching inside during the working itself. So on the job is all about, so you're working inside the organization and kind of special classes will be taken in between your work. That kind of method will be called as a coaching. Next is job instruction. That means proper instructor will be coming into the company and will be giving the instructions while working itself, while doing the job itself. So that will be called as a job instruction. Next is apprenticeship training. So this is basically for any kind of ITI kind of employees. So where people will be recruiting them as an apprentice and giving the trainings during the working itself, during the job itself. So that will be called as an apprenticeship training. Next is internships. So internships is a common kind of an on-the-job method. So where you will be recruiting the people inside the organization for a smaller period of time with a lesser compensation. So these are the most important on-the-job training methods. Next is off-the-job training methods. Under that, first is vestibule training. Under this, the company will be sending out a selective kind of people to the other place wherein they will be having a proper training regarding how to operate the machinery. Like say for example, if it is of any manufacturing outlet. So company will be selecting some kind of group of people and they'll be sending the people to some other place so that they can get the real time kind of experiences when they're operating any kind of machinery. So that will be called as a vestibule training. Next is role playing. So the name itself we can tell it is about role playing. So different kind of case studies will be given and will be given a kind of a role under that situation, and you should be acting such kind of a person and you will be giving the solutions for the any kind of cases that have happened. So that is called role playing. Next is case exercises. That means giving a case study and encouraging the employees to give a proper solution for the cases. That kind of method will be called as case studies. Next is sensitivity training. So training regarding the operations of the machinery. So proper instructions will be given and proper code of conduct will be given and proper methods will be given so that they can adopt to those kind of new technology. That will be called as sensitivity training. Next is conference or discussion. So that is any kind of workshops or a kind of panel discussions or conferences needs to be held by the organization so that the research people or kind of having the high knowledge people will be coming into the organization. They will be discussing about the way of operation of a retail outlet or a retail operation. Next is programmed instructions. A proper step-by-step instructions will be given by the manufacturer so that they can adopt such kind of step-by-step instructions. This will be mainly for any kind of factories. So if it is of any mining factory or any fertilizer factory, so this kind of mainly manufacturing outlets will be having the heavy machineries. So they'll be having a proper step-by-step programmed instructions will be given to how to operate the machinery. So that such kind of training method will be called as the programmed instruction. Next is classroom lecture. So this is the basic type of an training method. So basically people will be sitting inside a classroom and a knowledgeable person will be coming inside the class and they'll be giving the lectures regarding the operation of a machinery or operation of a particular campaign or anything. So that will be called as the classroom lectures. These are the important off-the-job training methods. So next is performance appraisal. So as you know that when you are going to work inside an organization for a longer period of time, you will be having a skills, you will be gaining some skills, you will be getting some experiences. So as and when you are getting experiences, you will be called as a senior person. So here a performance appraisal is important based on the performances what the employee has been giving. So if the performance has been high, rich and efficient, so in the same way appraisals needs to be done, whether it might be salary appraisal or perquisites appraisal, anything. Performance appraisal is very much important here. Performance appraisal is a systematic and periodic process of measuring an individual's work performance against the established requirements of the job. So that means a basic comparison of the established or planned objectives and comparing with the achieved objectives, and based on that, if performance will be evaluated. So such kind of method will be called as the performance appraisal method. So the subjective evaluation of the employee's strengths and weaknesses, relative worth to the organization and future development potential. So why they are going to do it? So in order to assess the employees regarding their strengths and weaknesses, relative worth to the organization. So what is their actual worth, or what is their actual weightage to the organization, and future developmental potential. So if they need any kind of future trainings needs to be taken on by the companies in order to deliver efficient kind of work by the employee. So all these will be analyzed in case of the performance appraisal. So next, we are going to talk about the methods of performance appraisal. So we have two types of methods, that is traditional methods and modern methods. So we'll see one by one. So traditional methods, so that is graphic rating scale method. So this is a basic one. So wherein a proper graph it will be given, that means whether it might be any bar graph or line graph. So proper graph will be taken down by the HR department, and depending on the performances. So if the graph has been increasing, then the performance has been increasing. If the graph is been kind of fluctuating, so there will be a kind of fluctuating or underdevelopment or underperformance of the employee. And if the graph has been decreasing, so there is a underperformance of the employee. So depending upon the performance or depending upon the objectives or goals achieved by the employee, so they are going to prepare a graph. Next is ranking method. So a proper ranking method will be given. That means Likert scale method, that is 5 scale method, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-star scaling. So the clients who will be working to the organization, so they will be giving the review about the employee, how they are going to work it. So based on the client's review, they are going to take the answers or feedback from the clients, and they are going to give the performance appraisal to the employee. So based on the ranking method. Next is paid comparison method. So paid comparison method is about like they're going to give a comparison of the achieved objectives as well as the planned objectives. By analyzing that kind of method will be called as the paid comparison method. Next is forced distribution method. So that means a proper distribution of the different kind of objectives and how they are going to achieve it. So how much time they are going to take to achieve the each and every objective. So based on the time and based on the performance given, so you are going to analyze it. That will be called as forced distribution method. Next is checklist method. So that means proper checklist, like a proper checklist will be done. So you're going to tick then and there when the objective has been achieved. So that kind of method will be called as checklist method. Next is critical incident method. So giving any kind of critical situations, so how they are going to react to such cases. So giving them any kind of stress management levels, or giving them any kind of stress and how they are going to react in such kind of cases. So and analyze the performance of them. So that is called critical incident method. Next is SA or free form appraisal. So that means basically it's a kind of free form wherein no such kind of proper detailed kind of methods will be taken down. So depending upon the performances, depending upon the behavior of the employees, you are going to make the appraisal. Next is group appraisal. So that means team projects. So if the team has achieved any kind of objective, or if the team have successfully completed the project, so overall the group will be getting the huge appraisal. So these are the traditional methods. Next is modern methods. So under that BARS, so that is behaviorally anchored rating scale. So this is a modern method of performance appraisal. The name itself you can tell behaviorally. So you are going to analyze what is the behaviors of the employee and what is the presetted behavior for each and every situation. So for each and every situation, there will be kind of a presetted behaviors that will be setted by the organization. So based on that, they will be comparing what is the actual behavior and what is the presetted behavior. So they are going to compare it and they are going to analyze the performance of the employee. Next is about assessment center. That means depending upon the goals or objectives that they have achieved, or any kind of rewards they have achieved, or targets they have achieved, based on that they are going to do the appraisal method. Next is human resource accounting, based on how much revenue that the person have generated from the time that he had joined, or from the time that the period had started and till date. So how much is the revenue the particular person have achieved, what is the income that have arisen for the organization. So depending upon that, any kind of appraisal will be done. That is called human resource accountant. Next is management by objective, that is MBO. So you know that based on the objectives the management is being set up. So based on the management the performance has been evaluated, based on the objectives the performance has been evaluated. So that kind of method will be called as the management by objective. Next is psychological appraisal. A proper traits or psychological traits will be given, and they are going to analyze what is the emotional quotient, or what is the emotional attachment, or what is the reactions of the employee towards those kind of situations will be compared. So that kind of appraisal methods will be called as the psychological appraisal. Next is results method. So based on the results what they have achieved, based on the targets that they have achieved, based on the objectives that they have achieved, so based on that you are going to give the appraisal, that will be called as a results method. Then is balanced scorecard. So a proper scorecard, just like your marks card, so there will be a proper scorecard will be given, and different kind of criterias will be there, and based on that there will be kind of ratings will be given to the employee, and based on that highest rating employee will be having the highest appraisal. These will be called as the modern methods. Next we are going to talk about the compensation. So compensation is about paying the employee, whether it might be wages or whether it might be salary. So it is going to giving the monetary benefits to the employee is all about the compensation. So we'll see it is managing and determining an employee's compensation to the employees in return for the work. That is monetary benefits that are given by the employer to the employee for the work they have done. So that will be called as a compensation. So compensation management involves managing, analyzing and determining the salary, benefits and incentives paid to the employee. So basically it requires what? So determine the salary, what is the basic salary, and what are the benefits and what are the incentives, and that needs to be paid to the employee by the employer. Compensation management plays a crucial role in attracting and retaining top level talent. So based on the salaries, based on the bonuses, based on the appraisal methods, based on the incentives that the company is going to give to the employee, so it attracts the top notch level of the talents. It includes monetary as well as non-monetary benefits. So it also increases the employee productivity and reduces the employee turnover. That means with the help of the proper compensation management, so it helps the organizations to retain the employees for the longer period of time, and it also motivates the employees for the proper productivity for a period of time. So this is regarding the meaning of the compensation. So we'll see what is the different types of compensation. Under that, first is direct compensation. It is a monetary benefit provided by the employer to the employee. So basically it is a directly, if you're going to give, that means based on a salary basis, that is monthly basis or weekly basis or daily basis, if you're going to give it, that will be called as a direct compensation. Next is hourly pay. So hourly pay is a salary paid for each hour of the work that the employee does. The name itself we can tell for how many number of hours the employee is working. So based on that, the employer is going to pay. This is for the basically for wages and unskilled labors. Next is salary. So as I've told, it is a monthly one, fixed monthly amount that the employer pays to the employee in cash or through bank transaction. Next is commission. This is an extra income. So a monetary reward that is paid based on the performance of an individual. So extra income that a employee is going to achieve based on the extra rewards that the person have achieved. Next is bonuses. So bonus is a monetary incentive paid to the employees for their good performance. It is paid over and above the employee's basic salary. So that means a basic bonus will be given to the employees based on the performance what they have achieved, or any kind of yearly bonuses will be given to the employees based on the turnover the company have achieved for a period of time. So these are the different kind of compensation levels. Next is indirect compensation. Under that, it refers to the non-monetary benefits like paid holidays, insurance benefits and retirement benefits will be given to the employees. Next is insurance, that is employees generally provide employees with the medical insurance to ensure the good health of their employees. So this is also one of the non-monetary benefit. That means from the proper or fixed amount will be deducted based on the policy regulations and based on the premium of the insurance. Next is paid holidays are provided to help the employees maintain a work-life balances. That is LTC given to the employees based on the cadre that they have achieved for a period of time. Next is ESOPs. So that means it is employee stock exchange. So wherein the employees has the privilege to buy the stocks of the companies for a lesser prices as compared to the prices that are there in the share market. So this is also kind of a privilege that has been given to the employees of the organization so that they can improvise the saving habits. That is called ESOPs. Next is retirement benefits. So pensions will be given and PF provident funds will be given to the employees after they have got retired. So that kind of benefits will be called as retirement benefits. Leave travel allowances, as I've told, it is about the LTC. So that is leave travel concessions that has been given to the employees based on the cadre that they are working. So you can see the definition here. Leave travel allowances is non-monetary benefit provided by the employer to the employee where the employer covers the employee's travel expenses. So for a period of time, for a 1 week travel. So if they are traveling for any inside India or outside India, based on that they are going to claim the expenses. That is called leave travel allowances. These are the important methods of the compensation. So in the coming session, we are going to learn about the impact of IT in the retailing, non-store retailing, what are the different types of non-store retailing we have got, electronic data interchange, what is barcoding, electronic article surveillances, social issues in retailing and ethical issues in retailing. So all these are next important topics that we are going to cover in the next session. So I'll meet you in the next session. Thank you so much.